New Year's Eve 2024. We are just hours away from 2025. Good evening, everybody. Judson Richards with you until 8 o'clock tonight. I mean this sincerely. I'm excited to be with you on New Year's Eve. I love New Year's Eve. It has nothing to do with the partying or going out or a countdown. None of that stuff. In fact, I doubt I'll make it until 9:30 this evening. I love New Year's Eve because it is a built-in new start. Right? Every 365 days, we are forced into a new beginning. And who doesn't like new? Even if you had a great 2024, one of the things about New Year's is it's a chance to assess. It's a chance to look back. It's a time to think about what you didn't like, what you liked about the previous year, and go ahead and just get started new again, right? You may love the shoes on your feet. Who doesn't love a new pair of shoes? So on New Year's Eve, New Year, just hours away. So good to be with you. I'm going to try to do something here that has been difficult to do for the last number of weeks, maybe even the last number of months when it comes to talking about the Bears. I'm going to try very briefly, because there's only so much you can do. I'm going to try to offer a little bit of hope and a little bit of optimism.
What are those words? Hope, optimism? What does that mean?
I grew up with a father who was a diehard Cubs fan. And my dad's favorite sweatshirt when I was a kid, I can remember it clear as day. He had a sweatshirt that said, the Chicago Cubs, even if it takes forever. And there's a lot of you out there, maybe that reminds you of your parents, maybe that reminds you of you, that you wear your team's misery like a badge of honor. But even as much as my dad loved that team, by September, in some of those really, really crappy teams, he would say, I'm done, I've had enough, I can't watch it anymore. And a lot of times he would stick to that, right? He would shut it down in September. But you know what? October, November, December would roll around. He'd get a chance to regroup. And by February, he would have that new roster memorized. He would know all the free agents. He could not wait until catchers and pitchers reported. And he could not wait for opening day. That is called hope. And that is why sports, as we say, parallels life. Well, sports really, really well parallels the new year. We call it a new year for our favorite teams. We call it a new season. So some of the best news that we have for this Bears team, who is 4-12, that has lost 10 games straight, the season is over in 5 days. And rather quickly, that NFL calendar will become a new calendar. And once we get to that new calendar, and we'll talk about the head coaches for the next couple of hours, but at some point, the Bears are going to hire their next head coach. And who knows, maybe that next head coach will give a really impressive press conference. And that will lead to you say, you know what? I think I like this guy. I mean, just for conversation's sake, how bad you feel right now, how low you feel right now, just think. If the Bears went ahead and hired Ben Johnson, we can close our eyes, we can envision that press conference, and then that hope would start to recalibrate a little bit. And then we run into free agency. Feel how you want about Ryan Poles. He's going to have some money to spend. There's going to be some cap room. And then we're going to see some real NFL talent, some free agents, make their way to Lake Forest, make their way to Hallis Hall, and then that hope starts to get going again. And then you know what? The biggest hope machine of them all, the NFL draft rolls around, and I'm telling you, another head coach, some new free agents, and an NFL draft, and we are not that far away from you convincing your Packer friend that the Bears could be double digits away. I'm not saying it's realistic. I'm just saying on New Year's Eve, as we are hours away from 2025, it's okay to lean a little bit into hope. You've got a goal to lose some weight. You've got a goal to eat better. You've got a goal to watch your team do a little bit better in the NFC North. Now's the time to do it, as we are just about 6 hours away from a new year. Now, from the optimism standpoint, the most absurd sports line in Chicago sports in 2024 was the Matt Eberflus glow up. By the way, if you would like to share the most absurd or ridiculous Chicago sports story, text me 312-644-6767. Now, how does the Matt Eberflus absurdity and glow up should make you feel optimistic? I'll tell you. First of all, how did that man grow a beard, get a new haircut, put on a tan at the start of last year's offseason, And somehow he became a better head coach because of it. I mean, Matt Eberflus actually had some votes for the coach of the year in 2024. And I'm telling you, yes, it came because he had 2 top 10 picks, number 1 and number 9. One of those was Caleb Williams. But the other, I'm telling you, was because the man got a tan. I mean, this is how we get caught up in things. So why should that make you feel optimistic? Because Matt Eberflus was doing 2 things. Number 1, he was trying to look like something that he wasn't. And that's cool. And number 2, he was trying to be something that he wasn't. And that was a competent NFL head football coach. So as bad as this team is, there is far more talent on this roster than what we saw this year. Am I telling you that there are not problems? No. There are absolutely problems on this roster. But they are far better than what we saw. I put a ton of that on a woeful coaching staff, Shane Waldron included. And I think that with a competent head coach and a competent staff, this team can be improved next year. So a little bit of hope, a little bit of optimism as we make our way into 2025. All right, now let's get to reality. 312-644-6767. Here's what I want to know from you. Caleb Williams threw his first pass in the NFL 114 days ago. That was in a win. I don't know how they won that game. Yes, I do. His name is Will Levis. The Bears beat the Titans 114 days ago. That was September 8th.